And it is a good morning. You know why? Because I'm sucking up this good old oxygen. The air is not as clean as it could be, or should be, or will be when people like one of our young guests actually take over the world, Miss Jada. I'm depending on young people to be able to step up and fill the void, even though the parents are working hard trying to show the deal. We know that the magic eyes of youth are the ones that we depend on. Remember when you were young? Remember, you saw the truth. At least you thought you did. You knew everything long before Google. So we're going to turn it over to the young folk again, and we're going to teach them how to fly. We're going to teach them how to write. We're going to teach them how to do the things that will make the world a better place and make us feel comfortable as we get old and need them to fluff the pillow. You know, all of those things will take place. They surely will. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. The Improve Association, a 501c3 organization that is designed to pull the community and business together, is our sponsor of the day, as is West Side Story newspaper, and we have several others who are supporting what we do. One of those things is Novatech. I want to bring up Novatech before we get too far into the game, because Novatech is showing me something that I had not, when they told me about it, I didn't believe it, and I told my great friend Amsis that, as great a martial artist as he is, I would risk the punch in the mouth by telling him that he's crazy. You're going to tell me that you're making, 10, 12% interest a month. How are you going to do that? The banks don't even pay that kind of stuff. Banks give you a bill for you give them your money and they give you a bill. If you don't keep enough money in the bank, they charge you to save your money. So somebody telling me about 3% interest compounded weekly, I don't know, so I got to watch that but guess what? I guess I opened my account with Novatech in March, and every week since then, I've earned at least 3% interest compounded. And that 3% that I earned, I'm able to dump back into my savings and earn 3% on that part of it the following week. Now, those of you who've listened to me for a while know that I'm not the smartest person in the world, except for my mother. Now, she thinks I am. And today is her birthday, so maybe I'm going to be exalted a little bit and maybe get a little more respect from you guys. But not being the smartest person in the world means I need to be patient, means that I need to study things a little bit. So I've studied Novatech. I'm not a multi-level person normally, except when I think about when I go to the gas station and I buy some gas and the guy at the gas station makes a little money. The people who delivered the gas make a little money. The people who converted the gas to gas from oil make a little money. And the people who lied and dug the oil up out of the ground, I say lied because they probably stole the ground. When you look at whose ground these people are sucking this oil up out of under the land grants that you're paying taxes for. Anyway, it ought to be cheaper. So I'm in a multi-level game anyway. Every time I pay a retailer some money, the wholesaler and all of those other people make money. So I have to give into that part. But I don't understand it. But once again, I go start my car. I don't understand that either. It just goes. So I'm going to give you my number, 909-915-7922. Give me a call. I will send you a link to Novatech where they can explain to you the great things that they do. I'm kind of stuck on 3% compounded weekly, and it's kind of hard for me to get off of that horse. So I'm going to ride that horse around the corral a little bit more. But if you want to get involved, give me a call, 909-915-7922. As I stated, today is Ruth's birthday. That's my mother. She is 96 today. And that is a real blessing for everyone who's had an opportunity to ever meet that wonderful lady. And I just want to thank the Lord for letting her or choosing her for me, for my mama. Okay, so thank you for that, and she's a real blessing. Okay, folks, today's program is about creating and understanding that we have voids to fill. We need to create We cannot create more land. We cannot create, well, we can create better oxygen. We can create some better ideas. And some of those ways to do that is to work with our young folk. We want to help create writers. We want to help create pilots. And those are the two things we're going to talk about today. Why? Because we're blessed to have folks who are innovative in both of those areas right here in the Inland Empire. I have a young lady who used to be 12. I don't know if she's still 12. But she wrote her first book, I think, when she was 11. And I don't know if time has gone past. I don't know if she's older now. I know she's older, but I don't know if she's reached that mark yet. Okay, that must be my mother calling to tell me how glad she is to hear me talk about her on the radio. We have Miss Jada. She's written, one book, 2 books, 3 books? But the big thing about that is that she reads a new book every week. Man, it'd make me ashamed of myself. If I wasn't reading instructions, I guess I could, but I'm reading too. I don't know if I'm necessarily brightening my horizons all the time as I do it. But we look forward to talking to her a little bit later. We're also going to speak with Mr. Bruce Atlas. Bruce used to be the Chief Operations Officer at the Ontario Airport. He's now an aviation consultant. And one of his missions is to help create new pilots, new airplane pilots. Now that to you may not sound exciting because you've gone to the airport and every time that you've gone, you've been able to meet your flights. Your flights have been on time, never any delays. You're always on time, and all of the pilots that are needed to keep the airlines working for you have been on time. But for most of the rest of us, there's a demand. There's a need for more pilots. And Bruce Atlas is involved in a program that actually has our high school students working on becoming pilots. Well, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Miss Jada Booten. She is an author of one book, and as I will chastise her and harangue her and talk to her about, it's really important that she get the second and third books written because that's where the money goes. Well, anyway, that's not why she's doing it. She's just doing it because it's fun. And this is fun. And I'm Wallace Allen, having fun with you. Have you right back right after this short break. Enjoy yourself. Happy birthday to my mama. Happy birthday to Ruth. All right, guys. See you later.
This is KCAA.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Hey, kiddo, ready to catch that movie?
Almost. Wallet, phone, keys, mask. Yep, all set.
A mask? It's not required, is it?
No, but it's gonna be busy and crowded, so I'll feel better with it on.
You right. It is open at night. Let me grab mine.
Nice! You passed the vibe check, Dad!
Wearing a mask when it can help protect you and others is just one way to keep each other safer. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hot, dry weather and a drought are impacting our water supply, but if we work together now, we can make our water last for us and for future generations. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California. Here's tip number 1. To help save our water, wash cars with a bucket, sponge, and a hose that has a self-closing nozzle. You'd be surprised to know how much you can help save. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California.
KCAA.
All right, we're back, and how's my sound? Am I loud enough? Perfect, because I want to holler and scream. I'm delighted to be here in the room with a young lady named Jada Booten. Did I get that right?
Yes.
I did. And how are you, Miss Jada?
I'm great. Today's a fabulous day.
Today's a fabulous day. I had a question earlier about your age. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can see her. You can't see her daddy yet, but he's here. Yes, you can. You can believe that. Okay, Miss Jada, your age is, and you just said something about the importance of your age. Tell us about turning 12. How important that is.
Turning 12 is only important so I can be 13. I mean, I much prefer it. Being 12 is like that weird stage before you get your report card. It's your like progress report, which is useless, and your teachers take forever to grade your work. Like, you're not excited about your progress report. You're excited about your report card so you can get your grade money. That's what
Grade
being 12
money.
is like.
Grade money. What does
Yes.
that mean?
Grade money is like when you get good grades. Like, I have gotten straight A's all last year, so.
Straight A's. That could get expensive. How much is a dad?
My
how
dad
you-
refuses to pay me because he's like, then I'm gonna be broke, and it's like, that's the point.
Whoa,
Like, I need my money.
whoa! Let's hold it. Hey, that's it. We're here on an advocacy move right now. Okay, let's see, Dad. Let's see. Move closer to the microphone. This is Bakari Booten, right?
Yes.
You're
yes.
the father, right? And you know, I'm a father, grandfather, and all that, and I want to be sure our reputations are held in high esteem forever and ever and ever.
Exactly.
Okay, now let me get witness. I mean, your daughter. I didn't mean to call her witness because that would sound like we're having some kind of trial or something. But she said something about grade money, super straight A's,
Yes, yes.
and somehow you had not been counseled about the danger of promising thousands of dollars
Oh, my
for
God.
A's from someone who had been hiding the fact that they understood long before you knew they did, that they were reading and doing things, and once they started talking, you thought that they just got brilliant overnight, but they've been listening for years and figured it all out. Smart girl? Is
Oh,
is
my
that who I
gosh.
just described?
Yes, you described her to a T.
Perfectly, right.
Oh, if you promise her something and you put her mind to it, she can do it
That's
like
amazing.
anything.
That's amazing. We're talking to Jada Booten and her father, Bakari, and she is a straight A student, attends Rialto Middle School,
Yes.
and Dad promised her.
$5 an A.
Which I did not receive.
Have
my-
not yet. Have
My
not.
grama had to give it to me.
That
counts.
That counts.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, and we need to be positive about these things. When people have made an obligation to pay you, and just because they haven't paid you doesn't mean they are not going to pay you. See, so boy, we need to be on brighter TV so you can see
It's
those
been like
eyes.
3 months.
You know, there was a scene on I guess they're doing a promo for the Judge show, and the judge says something, and the guy does something, the judge says, you know, I can see you rolling your eyes. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, she's rolling her eyes beautifully. Okay, so what are these subjects that you're getting these straight A's in?
Every subject. I mean,
Every
PE. I mean,
subject,
yes,
all right.
PE, math, elective, science. I mean, whatever.
So are they not challenging you?
No.
Is that the case? Maybe you are not being questioned hard enough. Maybe there's a need for some extra depth in the work. Is that a possibility?
I mean, you just always have to be good with the teachers, and then whatever you ask, it's supplied. Just be good with the teachers, and then they got you. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Once the teachers love you, then your grades love you too.
You got her talking about grades. She will brag about her grades
Yes, I will.
forever.
That's good, but there's some pride in that. And what do those grades represent to you? Getting an A doesn't just mean getting an A. You described a relationship
Well,
building that seems to take place as you
yes.
get these grades. So are you confident that you're being just graded on the subject matter, or maybe they're taking into consideration your outstanding personality? Do you think that may have anything to do with it?
Yes, because my reputation is like my most important thing that I hold very dear to me.
Oh my goodness.
My reputation at school is like my brother, it's like my sister. It's everything to me. Like, my reputation is my foundation.
Do you have brother and sister?
I do. I have a lot of sisters, actually. I have 3, 4 sisters, and I have 1 brother. I feel so bad for him. So bad for him.
And exactly what brings on this strong sense of quest for security for your brother here? What's the empathy coming from? What are you guys doing to
I
him?
mean, he hates singing. You sing and he hates you. I love singing though. Singing, I do it every day, all day, 24/7, and he
Singing?
absolutely hates it. And then my sister does it too. So we like to harmonize, and he's just trying to be in the corner, play his switch, but we don't let him. And then he gets in trouble because his dad's like, "Let them sing." He's like, "No, like I'm trying to play with my friend Nate."
Okay, so what's the age grouping in here?
My brother's 13. I'm 12. My other sister is 11, turning 12 in October. And my younger sister is, how old is she? I think
3
she's,
months?
is she 10? Is Ray 10? I think she's 10.
Ray's 10.
And then I have another sister who's 3 months. And then I have another sister who's, 14? Her birthday's
That's
16.
like 8 ages. It is not that many.
I have a lot of siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and like parents, as we get older, you can't remember all their names either.
Right. Yeah.
So that works out. What are you planning to do with your next book? You notice I didn't even bring up
Oh
your
my
first
goodness.
book. Yes.
My second book, let's not start. So it's taking place in college. And at me, with my 12-year-old self, I'm like, what is college? Like, what do you do in college? So I had to do a lot of research, and then with that research, it led like nowhere. So I'm kind of just stuck at like a 50-page point where I can't move on because I'm like, what is college?
So who's asking the question as you write the book? Is that
What do you mean?
the person who? I mean, who's the narrator? Who's
The narrator is a guy. He's 16. He got in because he was extra smart. I don't know what it was. Maybe his IQ. I didn't think about that. He's just in college, and it's narrated from a 16-year-old guy named Finley. He's
So would you like to go visit a college?
I would like to visit. I don't think I've ever been to a college. I would love to visit a college.
You know, that's what college recruiters love to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, oh, you got people want to visit? And
Yes.
that could be a nice article, as you look at what is college. Actually, for those who are listening new, you don't know what I'm doing. Those who know me know that I'm actually recruiting a writer for the newspaper. This is how we do it, right? Okay, so back to this other level of reality here. With your next book and with your wanting to explore what goes on in college, I think a perfect series or subject might be, what is college?
Yes.
Not from the standpoint of being in college, but from somebody who wants to plan to go to college. That may be exciting and, of that sort. Does that sound exciting to you?
I mean, going to college sounds very exciting. I want to be independent so bad, but I'm not, and I'm so devastated by that. Like, couldn't I have been born 7 years earlier? Like, please.
August 1st.
Why do kids always want to be grown so fast?
Well, it's because they see something that they admire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think kids that want to grow up fast probably are admiring their parents or their aunts and uncles or somebody, hopefully, that, we want them to admire. Or they could be admiring, Wild Bill. We have to be careful about that, don't we? And so how do we find those things out? As a parent, Bakari, you've got children who are, I'm sure she's smart, but I'll bet the other kids think they're just as smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think they probably challenge you just as hard.
Oh, all the time.
Okay, and
Like,
so
we're
that's
really
a total.
blessed with
Now,
that.
she named them off. There was about 15 kids when she named them. But I'll ask you. What are we dealing with here?
Amari, Jada, Savannah, and the newest addition is Marley. She's 3 months right now. She loves her. Like
My favorite.
She is addicted to her. She's like her little godmom. She's always with her.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Very
but
good.
she's the smartest kid. She's the smartest of I think she's gonna be something special.
Very
When she told
good.
me she wanted to write a book, and she was like 9 when she started, like, oh, I want to write a book. I did not know she meant like right now. I thought I was like, oh, okay.
okay.
Well, in college, she's like, oh, no,
I want to write a book now.
now. And
So
she
what,
did it.
What is your first book about?
My first book is about 3 kids. They're 15.
I'm going to say it again. To qualify for this to be your first book, means you got to have a second book.
Right.
Okay, so we're already across that bridge, and You know, I don't want my feet to be
Right.
dry here too long.
I really don't even know how to explain it. It's a coming of age book. Learned that today. Didn't know.
That it was a coming of age.
Yes, I never knew how to categorize it. I was like, what is my book about? Like,
Yeah,
I
don't
took
worry
no
about that
inspiration
part.
from
You
no one
just-
else.
Just write them. You just, yeah, okay.
So it's about 3 kids. They're 15, Finley, Taylor, and Liam. And they have, like, family problems, but they're friends. And, like, they come together with their family problems and learn that there's more to life than what high schoolers are. And, like, no one in high school is important. It's just you, and it's just your life, and you need to forget about everyone else. And, like, just have your friends with you. Like, just your friends, and they'll be the ones that are with you through your problems. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we're gonna have to be sure that we get you some nice soft friends to work with and to tell
Definitely.
because your friends are important, you know. But I'll tell you what, if you're walking through the woods with your friends, the bears are just as important as your friends, because the bears actually can affect you more than your friends. Because when the bear shows up, your friends are going to show you that the important thing is who can run the fastest.
Oh, wow.
No, I
I'm
mean,
going to steal
and
that. I'm definitely.
this is a truth based on a commercial I saw. Okay. But it's also true in terms of human nature. Just as if you grow yourself to think that you are really the only important thing and everybody else is a bridge and something to hold you up. Imagine what all of the other smart people are thinking. The same thing you are. Yeah. And all of a sudden, the 6 or 7 people who may have been able to deal with a bear or a bully or somebody that's insane, they've all run away.
Yes.
Instead of coming together.
Yeah.
Something I want you to think about.
Yeah, that's what my PE teacher said.
Because you're giving me something to think about. You know, you're showing me how when young people see a world and system that is not reaching out and helping those who need the help most obviously, that maybe this is a world that you do better by sequestering yourself and bringing yourself in a corner and working only for you as a solution.
And I love helping people, though.
Oh, good. See, because that is a concern as we grow writers, as we grow pilots, as we grow. I don't want to grow pilots that don't want to land. Okay. So, do I have a break? I'm sorry. Yeah, and I'm not listening on the thing there. Okay, we're going to take a short break. This is exciting to me. I hope it's exciting to you. I'm talking to Jada Booten, and freshly 12-year-old who's anticipating 18 next year. Being 18 next year as soon as possible.
Yes.
Smart as a whip and cute as a button, and got me worried here, you know? So I'm going to tell you what I'm worried about as soon as we get back. Thank you.
KCAA Loma Linda.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
COVID-19 vaccines help keep our families safer from the risks of COVID-19. Now, children 6 months and older are eligible to receive that same reassuring protection. As a parent, you might have questions or want to find out more about COVID-19 vaccines for kids. And that's okay. Talk with your doctor today or visit vaccinateall58.com to learn more so you can feel good about the facts. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hot, dry weather and a drought are impacting our water supply, but if we work together now, we can make our water last for us and for future generations. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California. Here's tip number 2 to help save our water. Check your toilet and faucets for leaks on a regular basis. You'd be surprised to know how much water a tiny leak can waste. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California.
Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at KCAAradio.com.
All right, we're back. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. Man, I got a great feeling going on for me this morning. I just during the break found that Bakari is retired military, Navy, and that he's not 900 years old. He's not even 40. And he's retired, and he spends his time raising our brilliant children. I appreciate that, my brother. I just really, and it makes me feel better about paying my taxes. Okay, because I mean, some of that's getting back over there to you through the multi-level program that that we've got going here with the government. That's amazing. What kind of advice do you have for other fathers who have children, girls in particular, and a lonely boy stuck in the middle of it like that? And how do you deal with him? What is he, poor kid?
But that's the thing with us. We have a blended family, so.
I have two families.
Okay.
Yeah, her on her mom's side, there's her brother. On my side, it's all girls. Like, I only have girls. Yeah. I'm a girl dad for sure.
I feel like you were cursed with something. That's actually what I say. Like, you were cursed.
She tells me that all the time.
That is what I say to all of you.
Even our last one.
Yes, if y'all don't have some boys and you kind of used to be cute, when he was coming up. And I don't know how many hearts he broke, as he was coming up. But he's getting his comeuppance now.
Oh my gosh. Whole different game. It does change you though. Having girls, it softens you.
Having children
in general,
and being blessed to have a circumstance that lets you be around them and raise them. It's one thing even to have a great job and be a great dad and still only be able to spend a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the evening. Raising the children is a real blessing. I had the blessing of being able to do that with my children because my wife had the job, and she went and she was on that situation that I wasn't cut out for, but it allowed us to publish a newspaper, be involved more in the community, and allowed me to be home with my boys and my daughters.
Like today, a lot of families don't have that luxury, so a lot of kids spend a lot of time in school and daycare and
or on their phone in their room.
Not around.
Or on their phone in the room, and that's a dangerous thing.
Because your parents are working and doing things, so they can't,
Yeah.
So how Miss Jade, how do you regard the phones?
My phone time, I spend very limited. Of course, my phone screen time says I have like 8 hours, but it's because I listen to audiobook, which is intelligent, and that's like working towards something,
Eric, I want to go on and bring Bruce on, and I'd like to be sure we've all got enough headphones. Okay, yeah, we do. Put your headphones on and give one to set to her, and because you are what Bruce is looking for, and what we're all looking for, I believe. In terms of celebrating our kids and knowing that they're here to learn, and that if we do it right, we can help them, and that's important. Bruce, are you there? Is Mr. Atlas on the line? Okay, we'll get Bruce in.
Yes, sir. I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, we hear you wonderfully. I don't know, you've been able to hear Miss Jada Booten, the young lady that we have here, and the pressure she's putting on her dad about her A grade money. I know that you're a father, too. Do we need to come to his aid and help him with this grade money, or do you think that grandmama taking care of it is enough? I'm kind of cool with grandmama myself. Bruce?
Absolutely. I'm ready to jump in and not only help him out and assist him with some of that grade money, but I'm ready to sign her up today.
Let's see what I mean. Tell her what you'd be signing her up for, Bruce.
I want to sign her up for our pilot program. I can see her flying a 737 across the country with one of our major airlines that I retired from, and also with other airlines. So there's a lot of opportunity for young people that are intelligent as she is, using her word, and
That's awesome.
Don't forget how humble she is. We need to.
Oh, yeah.
We need
Humble.
to keep that.
Describe her in one word.
One of the things that her dad didn't ask yet, but I could see it fluttering under his eyelids, is that when she becomes a pilot at one of the airlines, does Dad get to fly free?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Dave,
my
my
goodness.
favorite word. You said free. I was like, oh, you're doing it.
Dad gets to fly free. Mom gets to fly free.
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. I have my kids. Now, as I talked about this program to one of my older young people, my son, there was an interest level, and he's, right there at that 40. This particular son, does that program reach that deep, or are we, we really want to go with the teenagers? Bruce?
No. The right now there is a need for pilots critically today, but definitely we're looking at getting the young people involved at a very early age.
Right.
I'm talking to some folks in the Inland Empire about starting a program for kids that graduate from college and not sure what they want to do. There's a lot of kids sitting at home, with a degree and still not sure which direction they want to go.
And
so we'd like to expose them to opportunities in aviation.
And the parents that they're sitting at home would be like for you to do that too.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Bruce, let's talk a little bit about your program because I know you as a consultant for the aviation world. You have the expertise of having been the chief operations officer at the Ontario International Airport for I don't know how many years?
That's 7 years with the Airport Authority.
Okay.
And I retired from Southwest Airlines, where I served 20 years with Southwest Airlines in the aviation industry.
Well, that's a pretty good background. So the need for pilots, I kind of brushed on it earlier in the program in my little sarcastic way, talking about how happy everyone has to be that has gone to the airport and found that their flight was on time and everything was working in perfect order. But that's not the way it's been lately. And you're speaking to one of the main causes of that, and that's the need for pilots. So what are the special programs? What could Jada look forward to if, she's 12 years old? How would we bring her into a program like what you're talking about, and what's the realistic timeline for her and other teenagers that would be interested in becoming pilots?
Well, our program starts at 13 years old. However, I've been working with the FAA for the last 2 years on their outreach program. And looking at how involved kids are with devices, some kids are, they can't walk and talk. They're still in a stroller, but they can navigate their way on a device to find Baby Shark. And so the FAA is actually looking at reaching out to elementary schools to start exposing kids to aviation.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, the demand. We have to look at the demand is growing constantly for pilots as we move into the age with parcels being delivered by using drones. You have to have a private pilot's license.
Oh, that's right.
You'll need a commercial license to fly a drone. Commercially, you'll need a private pilot's license to fly a drone for commercial usage.
Do you see access to younger pilots being able to work sooner because of the use of the drones and the more, I'm not going to say less critical, but it's just not perceived to be as dangerous from me as I perceive it to have somebody deliver a package as driving an airplane full of passengers.
No, understood. And when we look at the commercial aspect of it, the baby boomers are all aging out. You can only fly commercial to age 65. You can fly cargo an additional 2 years to 67, but passengers, you can only fly commercial to age 65. And so with the baby boomers all aging out, and then what we've experienced with COVID, a lot of pilots were offered early out programs, because the travel slowed down in the industry across the world. And so we saw a lot of movement with pilots retiring, but there's not enough interest on the young side in that pipeline to come in and backfill all the opportunities. So within the next 10 to 12 years, there'll be a shortage of over 804,000 pilots. And so we're looking at ways to get young people involved in aviation at a very early age, so that they can step up into programs. For instance, United has a program that's called Aviate, and you can go into that program at age 18. And the same thing with Southwest Airlines. Southwest has a program called Destination 225, and of course 225 on the compass is Southwest. You have an opportunity to go through a program 4 to 4.5 years, and then you'll be in the right seat as a first officer flying a commercial aircraft.
So flying a drone is not a commercial pilot's license, but it is a pilot's license.
That's correct.
And we know that we see 12 and 13-year-olds with pilot licenses. Are they now, with that pilot's license, qualified to do the drone delivery work for an Amazon or Walmart or whomever does that? You say in the next year or so? I'm looking at, can athletes now, college athletes now can, face and likeness and name and all of that, they can make money on it. And in a capitalistic society like ours, keeping people away from making money that they're qualified to make seems to be a little against the grain as far as I'm concerned. So if the drug dealers can grab them and make street hustlers out of them, I think we should be able to compete and make drone drivers out of them and make newspaper writers out of them. See, I'm back on that again. You heard that part? So we've got to compete like that. So I'm just really wondering that, as you say, we see these young people handling these weapons of potential intellectual greatness as they play these games. It could be airplanes, it could be drones, it could be any of that. What do you see in the future for younger people making money? Is that exciting to you, Jada?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear that?
Love to make her own money.
She didn't
Yes.
say yes. She said yes. It was a pleading in there. Can we do this? Okay. All right. Okay. This is Bruce, and his last name is Atlas. You know what who Atlas was? Atlas is the guy who held the world on his shoulders.
I do know
Can
Atlas.
do anything. Ask Mr. Atlas. Hey, Bruce, we could call that Ask Mr. Atlas. How about that?
That's actually cool.
Very cool.
I like it.
So, what do you think, Bruce? What's the potential of young people actually being able to go get their pilot's license to specifically do drone work? The military takes them.
I was going to ask him about that. Like, what's his how do they reach, especially in inner cities, the kids to know about this? I have a nephew at home right now, in a gap year, trying to figure out what he want to do, and I think this is something that he's 20 years old that could help him. But growing up, I've never seen. Right now, if you ask me, how do you become a pilot, I'd say I don't know.
Okay.
So, how do they do that? The military's in the schools, walking around, so that was easy.
So how do we holding tank this group of interested people? What do we do with them now that can put them in the cycle, Bruce? How do we do that? Because every time you've talked about it, I know you get the same response. Because every time I've been around you talking about it, we get the same response: anxiety. Let's go. What do we need to do? Can I go home with you? Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great question, and it's all about exposure, and that's what our program is all about. We're trying to reach out to underserved communities and to inner city kids and expose them, introduce them to opportunities in aviation, because we just didn't get it in our communities. We didn't get it growing up. I grew up in the 60s, and growing up in the 60s, the career choices, you wanted to be a policeman, a fireman, or you went in the military. right? And we look at the kids today, their role models are more along becoming an NFL, NBA player somewhere in the sports game or in music.
Or a thumb king.
And that's, yeah.
You know, working on thumbs, you know, so
absolutely.
that is an area that we see them gravitating to on their own, whereas these other things are things that we try to kind of push on them. The kid that's playing football, he's following dad's dream 9 times out of 10. You know, he didn't wake up and say, oh, I want to play football. He woke up and said, hey, watch the game, son, watch the game with me. Don't you want to catch the ball with me, son? Come on. So what they want to do is what we can tell what they want to do, because it's usually what we don't want them to do, right? We didn't want these kids to get rich on rap music, so we told them, leave that rap alone. And now look at it. You know, so we're telling them, get out of that game, get your head out of that phone. And that's where the money is. We need to figure out how to let them do what they can do and encourage them to turn that into something that's going to benefit us in the future. Jada is ready. She's right. She's not only ready to do it, she's ready to write a book about it. So the answer that, so when we ask that question, Bruce, we're still stuck with the same answer. That is that we're outreaching. Okay, so when we outreach, where is the holding tank? Where do we put them when they say, I'm interested, I want to do it? What do we do with the 12-year-old like Jada? What do we do with the in-betweener like Bakari's nephew? How do we corral that interest and put it on the right track?
Glad you asked, because there's several programs that are available in the Inland Empire. There's a program in the high desert. The name of it is Millionaire Mind Kids. And that program is run by Miss Dolores and a young man by the name of Dante that went through the Shades of Blue, our Shades of Blue program. And this young man graduated from the program, very motivated. He's looking at starting his own cargo airline and well on the way to getting that done. And I'll have to introduce you to him so you can talk to him and have him, a young person, reach out and talk to other young people about exciting opportunities and careers in aviation. He's a pilot today and flying in the high desert. And his you know, I think Dante is 22, 23 at the oldest.
Yeah, see, we need to just sit him down with a business planner that can help him put together the plan for his business and go find him the investors, because that's what we're doing. Every time we go buy something at the store, we're investing in somebody's product. That's amazing, Bruce. That's amazing.
It really is. But if our kids would reach out or go online into ourshadesofblue.org.
Ourshadesofblue.org. That'll be our final statement before the break. Say it again.
Our Shades of Blue.
Ourshadesofblue.org. Okay, we'll be right back after this break, and we'll bring you a little bit closer to perfection. We'll be right back.
But now it seems like things are finally coming around.
KCAA Loma Linda.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Californians have worked really hard to beat COVID-19 by doing the things we know work best, like getting vaccinated and boosted, testing before and after travel, staying home when feeling sick, and wearing a mask when it can protect us and others. Let's continue to do our part to keep each other safer from COVID-19. When we work together, there's nothing we can't overcome. Learn more at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hot, dry weather and a drought are impacting our water supply, but if we work together now, we can make our water last for us and for future generations. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California. Here's tip number 1. To help save our water, wash cars with a bucket, sponge, and a hose that has a self-closing nozzle. You'd be surprised to know how much you can help save. To learn more, visit SaveOurWater.com. Let's make it last, California.
Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at KCAAradio.com.
All right, we're back. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, and I was just speaking to, the generation gap. I don't know, there's a TV program called The Generation Gap. And Bruce, for you and I and Bakari, Jada don't know what I'm talking about. But during the break, I was explaining and expressing to Bakari the, necessary things to be concerned about when you've got a daughter with, So I said to him, one of the things we need to be concerned about is that we don't get some junior, I want to be Teddy Pendergrass kind of guy whispering in her ear. Now, you know what I mean, right?
No, absolutely.
Bakari, you know what I mean, right?
Absolutely.
Jada, do you have any idea what I mean?
No, not really.
All right, we just won, Pop. We just won. I don't know how long that'll last, but we won.
Oh, man.
That's good.
I was relieved she said that.
Yes, we have competitions.
Yes, very good. So, ourblueskies.org.
Our Shades of Blue.
There we go. See, that's what happens when you get over 45.
I'm going to go home and
OurShadesOfBlue.org. So if you tried to, to remember that during the break instead of writing it down, see what happened to me? Probably happened to you. OurShadesOfBlue.org. You want to go look that up so you can let your young people of concern know that there's a pilot's program. There's an opportunity for them to learn how to become a pilot, FAA approved. Now, to make that seem like, well, that's really hard. I don't know if I want to do that. It's drones. Oh, hold it. Now, I know that sounds mysterious to a lot of you guys, but let me use another term. Model airplane. Remember those? People have been flying them for years. You hear the noise they gather. Does a model airplane guy have to have a pilot's license, Bruce?
No.
See?
But there are classes and courses that they take to know the rules and regulations with the FAA guidelines.
So if they've been flying their model planes, they're probably just a half a step away from being able to actually get a pilot's license.
That's correct.
And
so let's talk about what that pathway looks like for young people, 12 years old, 10 years old, that have that interest and the passion and want to be involved in aviation. You could go to that website, and there's a learning management system. Sign up for the learning management system. Now you get the knowledge required to pass the test for your pilot's license. So you can go in, take the modules. There's quiz, there's tests available. You can pass the test and be prepared to go take your private pilot's license. And so now that you have your private pilot's license, now you have to put the work in, if you will. You have to start logging those hours, because to fly commercial, you'll need 1,500 hours logged before you can fly commercial. Same thing with drones. You have to go in and put the work in, log the hours, and kind of perfect that craft to be a drone pilot or to be a private pilot for private passengers or customers that have their own aircraft or rent aircraft. You can fly those individuals around the world by leasing an aircraft or working for a company that flies for the private sector. But on the commercial side, you need 1,500 hours to be able to fly with a passenger airline.
So is there an age limit on your being able to secure a pilot's license?
No, we just graduated May 14th. We graduated 48 kids at the Ontario International Airport that participated in our program. and none of the kids are old enough to have a driver's license.
That's
so
cool.
So everybody that's waiting to be 16 could find that being 12 is really a gate opener anyway. That's amazing. That is amazing. And her eyes are just lit up over here.
So if I'm 12 and get a pilot's license, will it be easier to get a driver's license?
No.
I don't think
Will I get like extra credit?
Well,
no, you can drive a plane, so you could fly a plane, so you could drive a car, like that type of thing.
Yes.
No.
I mean, like.
Well, no. Now let me ask you. Reverse that. If you drive a car, should that qualify you to drive a plane?
I think she thinks the plane's harder. That's why.
Yes.
Well, one is in the air and one is on the ground, and both of them have different traffic.
I mean,
they have
I've just
different
seen all the
traffic
buttons.
circumstances. But it's a logical question. It's a great question with people talking about flying cars, right? I mean, so you're gonna have to, So she's thinking way inside of the box here. We need her outside of the box. That was a good question, but I need you getting a little deeper.
What's the time frame?
Yeah, we talked about that with the Jetsons. I need you to come on up here.
Well, we know Uber Air is right around the corner.
Uber
Air. When you talk about Jetsons and flying cars, that's not very far away. You'll have drones. They'll be like a car, but it's a drone. You have the park and ride areas around the country. Well, you'll be able to drive your car, park in the park and ride, board a drone, and then that drone would fly you to one of the major airports where on like a helipad, you can land the drone on like a helipad and then take you into the terminal. So yes, that's within 2 years away.
Yeah, that's the LA. That's in the LA airport plan now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so no, that's ooh-wee. All right. I remember the story, and Bruce and Bakari, you may not understand this one. This may be a little bit deeper for you. But Bruce, there was a time when my auntie in Summit, Mississippi, was known to say, because my dad and him drove up in a car, in a car, and Aunt Mamie said, I ain't riding in nothing that don't stop when I say, whoa. So time is rolled forward. The time has brought us to you, Miss Jada. We've given you much subject to write about. We do anticipate your second. Actually, since we've talked about your second book so much, I'm really looking forward to talking about your third book. And we want to talk to you about what goes on in your daily life, what goes on at school, what is college. So we're going to ask you to come back at some point, not too far in the future, but, as we look at school here, because I like to allow you to keep us old folk here excited.
Okay, I'd love to come back.
Okay,
this is fun.
Perfect. That's the perfect attitude, and it's wonderful. Bakari, thank you for being a good dad. Once again, I thank the United States Navy for doing the job, and I'm glad
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, it's great. Eric, great job. Glad you're here. I heard otherwise, boy, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, this is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. This has been a great show. Bruce, thank you so much. We didn't get to remind people that you've got a program starting right over here at Fontana High School, so I'll have to ask you to come back maybe next week or the week after at the latest to update us on what's available right here in the Inland Empire for our young folk. All right? Good deal. All right. Talk to you guys later. See you next week under two circumstances. One, if the good Lord's willing. Two, if the creek don't rise. God bless you. Thank you for spending your time with us. See you guys. Thank you.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5